to episode 751. It's now officially spooky season.
Somebody told me it's going to start snowing in Denver before Halloween. One of our brainiacs was like, I hate to break it to you, but...
No.
So when you come visit me, pack the snow jacket.
Why are we going to go for POW?
No, but it's just going to snow here and you're going to be fucking freezing.
I know. I hate it so much. I'm really trying to get into the mode of like pretending like I like the cold so that I'm not miserable for the next 6 months.
The good thing is we have a lot of new Brain Candy sweatshirts that I
true. You look
added
great
to the collection. I'm wearing one right now. Thank you very much.
How great is that new logo?
I freaking love it.
I love it too.
And I go back and forth on which one I like more, a hoodie or a crew neck. You know what I mean?
No, I
do
know
what you
mean.
Hoodies for a while, and then I'm like, no, I think I like a crew neck. And then I wear that for a while, and then I throw the hoodie on, and I'm like, oh, where's this pocket been all my life?
That's true. Why can't they make a crew neck with a pocket?
Right, I'm sure they do.
Why is it always like tandem with a hood? I don't get that.
Right.
I never thought about that before. Mm-hmm. What the heck? It seems like a conspiracy by Big Hoodie or something.
Big Hoodie. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope the, spooky season is not ruined by, what do they call him? Father Winter? No.
Father Winter, yes.
No, that's not it.
That's Father Time. What is the winter one?
Yeah, what's the winter guy's name?
Jack Frost.
Jack Frost, nipping at your toes or something,
Yes.
nipping at your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both.
fuck that. It's freaking pumpkins only. How are you anyway?
I'm good. No complaints. I mean, I got a little bit of a stuffy nose, but,
What's that about?
I don't know. I think like Eli says I'm run down because I didn't get enough
Did
sleep.
he say that?
Yeah.
That's a classic, mom
Right?
thing
It's
to
like,
say.
you're just run down.
Aw. Have you been like burning the candle at both
I think
ends?
so.
Why? That's
I don't know. Just like traveling and I don't know, being on the go, moving and grooving.
Yeah. Well, don't forget self-care, Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Suze. Yeah.
Let me just start talking about the stuff I have on my list today.
Yes. I love a list.
Okay. Well, I did watch the Supermodels documentary series on Apple TV. I was very excited. Well, I even had it on my calendar. Like I was counting down the days. I was so excited to watch it. It was great. I mean, what a fascinating moment in time, because it was covering like the 80s and 90s when it was all those ladies that were the supermodels, and how strange that was, since supermodel really wasn't a thing too much before that. You had like Twiggy,
right,
and that was really it. One or two other people, but
why wasn't it a thing before that?
Well, they explained it as previously there were runway models and then there were print models, and the two didn't overlap. And for some
print
reason,
models were probably more your average looking.
Maybe they were like more, I don't know. Those gals were not average though. Like, because that's who they were describing, like Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell.
Oh, I'm thinking catalog model, not print model. I'm thinking like, like when you said JCPenney. No, like Sears catalog. I'm
saying they're referring to like
which
Vogue
is totally different. They are not regular people in Vogue.
Yeah. And
Print
I think that the runway gals were maybe more like hangers. Just like human hangers. And so
you're just walking.
Nobody gave a shit.
And maybe in print you have a little more of like your personality that's come through.
And it was just like this, I don't know how, it's always like a confluence of all kinds of cultural things happening at the same time that make a moment, I guess. But I was interested in their commentary about aging. I think that's if you put all your eggs in one basket there, I mean, that can be a real bummer.
And don't you think some of those ladies aged a little better than others?
I'll tell you what, my friend Kelly said this too. I do not know how Naomi Campbell can be that flawless and smoke. How?
Heidi Klum too.
Smoker. Right. Which I get why they do it, because I'm sure it curbs your appetite, which is important if you want to be one of those gals. But
do you have a favorite supermodel of that era?
Well, Linda Evangelista. What about you? Who do you like?
I mean, I think it was a little bit before my time, the era of supermodels where I didn't really like it. I think I was more the Tyra Banks era, which came a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, she wasn't even in it. Like, they only covered 4 ladies, but you could spot other ones. You know, Claudia Schiffer, they didn't cover, but she was in a lot of the footage. Tyra wasn't even in the footage, so I don't know. But
yeah, but it kind of feels like maybe
was she your favorite?
I can't say I liked Naomi Campbell's attitude. I like some of the things, like even though she was kind of the bad girl,
she's a piece of shit. Like I love
totally,
it too,
like so rude, but I kind of into it, and it. What's Cindy Crawford? I mean, she's like gorgeous. They just felt like not like a different species almost. Like, I know I am a woman.
You're a lady.
I think so, lady.
Yeah.
But then I look at them and I'm like, now I'm not really sure.
What are you? Yeah, totally.
You know?
But remember when you were probably too young for this too, but Cindy Crawford hosted House of Style on MTV.
Yes.
Boy, I did not think she had what it took to be a host. I was just snooze-a-roo. Yeah, I mean, she's just kind of, she's not like a laugh a minute or anything, you know?
No, she does. Please. Nobody can do it all. And if somebody like that is funny, fuck you.
Well, I know. And
fuck you. You're not allowed to be funny and look like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, because she's also really
I want them
smart.
to be meh.
She was valedictorian.
Yeah. And you're... Okay.
Yeah. Enough is enough.
You have enough.
Cindy.
Enough is enough.
Yeah. It's almost rude. I like when you call people rude.
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 How dare you? Yeah, that's just rude.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but do you remember about maybe a year ago, it came out that Linda Evangelista had undergone cool sculpting on her body and facial area, like neck, I guess, and was one of the 1 in a million people or whatever it is that it causes like the opposite where it pulls out these huge blobs and then you cannot get rid of them. And she's like, she says she's disfigured. And it is horrific to think about.
That I was I was like, what's happening there? And now that explains it.
Really? You thought that when you saw like a picture or something?
Yeah. I didn't know that this happened.
Yeah. The reason I say it like that is because like her face is still so beautiful that especially in the interviews in this series, I thought like it's almost like unreal how pretty these people can be. Like you're saying, like they're not human. They're so beautiful. So I would not have noticed anything amiss, but she covers up a lot. I mean, she wears like very big kind of.
Oh my goodness. Her therapist made a lot of money.
Oh my God. And she's still, you can tell she's like, her chin, she's always almost crying a lot because I think she's like traumatized.
Yeah, I bet.
Because she thought it was no risk. It was just sort of this thing to get rid of maybe a little bit of weight. And
they make it real casual. And then when you are, as she put it, like disfigured or, drastically changed in something that's your own,
your identity.
And like efforts to.
Oh my God, right? It was her fault. Yeah.
Yeah. That
a choice
part.
that she made.
Yeah. That's the part that every time I go in for Botox, I hold my breath. Oh God.
You don't want the droopy eye?
Yeah.
I know.
I'm like, man, I can't, and then it's just like, look what you've done.
Oh my God.
You did this to yourself.
I know. That is.
And if it can happen to the Kardashians, it could happen to me.
What happened to them?
One of I don't fucking know who. who's the nice one? Courtney. She
is the nice one.
She got like a droopy eye from it. It lasted 3 months.
Oh,
like
I didn't know that, and I didn't know. 3 months.
And it was like during filming.
Droop?
Yeah.
Oh, for Pete's sake, that is so embarrassing.
I'll send you a picture or something like that of it. It's like, could you imagine? Then you have to like just get like saggy face for like reaction. You wear sunglasses forever. Maybe that's why when those big sunglasses went in fashion.
Right, to deal with the droop eye.
Yeah.
Well, that's disturbing. I'll tell you what's not disturbing, and that is how delicious wild grain bread is.
Ooh, I got my box arriving this week.
That's
which
exciting.
means I'm going to have croissants.
Her favorite.
Gosh.
I mean, I don't know how you pick a favorite, actually, because their breads are incredible. Tonight we're having the pasta and the bread. We're carb loading.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should. Oh, man. That sounds so good. There's an egg. I'm going to mispronounce it, but I have been craving this. It's called like shakshuya, SHAKSHUA or something. And it's like a tomato breakfast dish in like a cast iron skillet with like a poached egg in it and feta on top.
Yeah.
I'm definitely mispronouncing it.
Yeah.
But I
Sop it up with some
am
bread.
dying for this and my wild grain bread.
I mean, make it happen.
I can't wait. I'm going to. It's arriving in like 2 days.
They're so good. It comes frozen. You keep it frozen until you want to eat it. And then a few minutes later, you have basically bakery fresh breads and pastas and pastries. And it's out of this world. And it's easier on your stomach because of the way they do it. Now you can fully customize your wild grain box. So you can get any combination of breads, pastas, and pastries that you like. If you want a box of all bread, all pasta, all pastries, you can have it. Plus, for a limited time, you can get $30 off your first box, plus those free croissants Sarah's obsessed with in every box. When you go to wildgrain.com/braincandy to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/braincandy. That's wildgrain.com/braincandy, or you can use our promo code braincandy at checkout. Anyway, I liked it. You should watch it. It's interesting. And I guess I long for those days. I don't love the way the modeling thing is now it's just like influencer kind of thing.
Oh, totally. Or, what are the nepo babies?
Yeah. I mean, in the case of someone like Kaya Gerber, I get it, because if your mom is Cindy Crawford, you probably look like a supermodel too.
Right. Oh,
and you have the height and everything. But like the Kendall Jenner thing and the Hadid.
She's really beautiful.
Who? Kendall?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Cindy Crawford's daughter is beautiful.
I know. It ain't right.
Holy crap.
But I don't mean that Kendall's not beautiful. I mean that there's more to being a model than being beautiful. Like you have to have a walk and stuff. And I don't mean to be mean because listen, Natalia Bryant, Kobe Bryant's daughter, has been through a lot, obviously, but something ain't right with that girl's walk. And she was walking in Milan's Fashion Week this week, and I was like, who's that woman that can't walk? And then I saw it was her. I mean, I didn't even know it was her when I was judging.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah.
But maybe it's distinctive and that's her thing. I'm just not a fan.
Ooh, this is...
I know. This is Susie's hot take for today.
I like this. It feels like this is the kind of controversy and
people are going to be mad.
Why?
Because her dad died.
Okay, but that's not really what we're talking about here.
No,
we're talking about the bigger
baby.
Yes, the nepo baby modeling thing and how it has changed the modeling industry. And yeah, those are two different conversations. We can have another conversation about the challenges
she's had tough times.
Of being in the spotlight and losing a parent and all that. But that's separate than walking the runway.
That's what I'm saying. She needs Naomi to teach her how to do that special strut they do.
Yeah, but let's not bring back that show. Ooh, Tyra Banks.
What show?
What was that? Top Model?
Tyra, no. Ugh. Oh, right.
It was the worst show that, I mean, it was
For real.
a bad time in reality television.
It really was. But I did enjoy watching it at the time.
Right.
I did.
That's the problem.
I know. I feel guilty. Okay, moving on. This is even more fun.
Ooh.
There is a documentary on Apple TV also called The Big Con, and it's CONN because it's about an attorney who he's like a Social Security attorney. And you know those guys, every city has them, that buy all the billboards.
Oh, yeah.
Injured. And then, you know, it's always like super cheesy and hilarious.
I'm looking at you, Ramos Law.
I'm looking at you, Edgar Snyder. For real. Like, we all know them.
Every town has one. This hashtag not an ad.
This is the opposite of an ad.
Unless Ramos Law would like to support the Brain Candy podcast, in which case, injured?
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
And the reason every town has one of these guys is because these billboards are effective. And they are, as soon as you get whatever the problem that they are dealing with, you think, I better call that guy.
Larry H. Parker will fight for you.
Oh, my God.
Was that good?
It's funny because
do you know of Larry H. Parker from living in LA?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just know the exact type of person you mean.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Eric C. Kahn was in Kentucky in Appalachia.
His last name is Kahn.
Sarah.
Susie.
On, right? I'm telling you. Okay. So he was doing really big things in the Social Security litigation world. And pretty much the whole town of whatever Kentucky was on disability because of Eric C. Kahn. And it was like, I think his website was like MrSocialSecurity.com or something. Okay. Here's the thing about this documentary. This is my favorite kind of documentary because it's hilarious, especially the beginning, like where you're getting introduced to this character and all the billboards and the weird commercials that they do and whatever. And they're all terrible. But then it's also very informative because you learn about Social Security law and how people skirt it and then how the government regulates it or doesn't and whatever. And so you're actually learning a lot about this humongous thing in the federal budget that like everyone just takes for granted is like, it's fine, it's running. And it's like interesting. But then it got really disturbing because Eric C. Kahn was defrauding.
Every time you say it, it's funny. Okay, go ahead.
Eric C. Kahn was defrauding the government by working in cahoots with a judge. So the judge would approve everything that Eric C. Kahn brought to for Social Security. And then this Wall Street Journal guy was just doing his job, looking into Social Security budget. And there's like a database of all the judges, and it shows what the percentages of approval for people that are applying for Social Security.
Oh, significantly higher for this guy.
Everyone else is like 50-50, and he's like 99% approval.
Got it. Yeah.
Anyway, that's how they blew the lid off of it.
Uh-huh.
But it's wild. Eric C. Kahn was married to like 17 people. He has been married all these times. Like he's a lunatic. And
oh my God.
Then when he was charged, he went on the run.
I mean, we should just, I'm not saying like Minority Report everybody, but if your name is Eric C. Kahn, just
it's a red flag.
Yeah. Just mark him, watch him. Somebody put tabs on that guy. Like, if your name is like Joe, I'ma steal your money, then maybe we should watch that guy.
Right. Just like look into it a little bit.
Just look into him. You know, let's keep tabs on that guy. You know, they say if you see something, say something. I'm saying something.
Yeah. Sarah's doing her whistleblowing again. No one's listening.
Okay.
It was great though. I laughed. I did cry though eventually because
really,
yeah, because instead of just dealing with Eric C. Kahn, the Social Security Administration invalidated every single client of his, and including like paraplegics and stuff like this.
Oh no!
And was like, you don't have Social Security anymore, and not only that, but you have to pay back everything we already gave you.
No.
And these people, yeah, and a lot of them actually were disabled. That made me cry.
Well, that's not fair.
Yeah, it's real messed up.
Holy shit. Man, our system's fucked up.
I know, and they were like, I never even met Eric C. Kahn. Like, because if you call the number, it's not like you talk to Eric.
Yeah, you're getting that guy. Right. Man.
When he was caught, but he wasn't like in jail yet, he just changed it from Eric C. Kahn to E. Christopher Kahn.
I was wondering what the C stood for. Like, yes. That's how you know he's a narcissist, because like he couldn't actually change his name or go by different. There was still a part of him that needed everybody to know who he is.
You will love this series.
I can't wait.
You will totally enjoy it.
Can't wait.
It is a must see. I'm telling you, Sue's reviews, 2 thumbs up. You got to watch it on Apple TV. Okay.
The Big Con, CONN.
I'll tell you what else I'm giving 2 thumbs up to, and that is Green Chef meals. Am I right or am I right?
You are right. This is my solution for when it's time for me to cook, and Eli's been cooking every single night, and I'm like, I gotta like pull my weight around here. But I don't want to grocery shop. I don't want to plan. I'm not good at looking in the refrigerator and figuring out how to make a meal, especially if it's the end of the day and I'm really tired. No, absolutely no decision power left. So Green Chef, healthy,
this is so
delicious,
much
affordable.
better. And like, I know how you people are with your cookbooks. You don't even crack them open. Don't lie. Those things are collecting dust. So if you get Green Chef, you will get a recipe and all the ingredients, and you can make the quick and easy kind, the calorie smart, delicious discoveries, plant-based options. They have all the like vegetarian, vegan, keto, whatever it is that, your diet is, you can get, and you can switch it out. So you don't have to do one thing only. Very flexible. And they have a deal for you. Go to greenchef.com/60braincandy and use code 60braincandy to get 60% off plus free shipping. Go to greenchef.com/60braincandy and use code 60braincandy to get 60% off plus free shipping. I know there's a lot of like competition, but if you're trying to decide which one to go with, I highly recommend Green Chef. It is delish.
Yes.
It really is. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. I thought this was interesting. You know how like there's always that issue. You were just talking about Airbnb in New York and how they're doing things different because like things got weird.
You basically need like the tenant to like make you breakfast in order to book thing there.
I guess in the end that those changes are something I support because it's all these, huge management companies that just buy up property and then so I like it, but I don't know. It's complicated. Okay, so I was reading this article about how, there's always these parties people throw at Airbnbs, and it's like a problem. And then the owners always try to like curb it, with their weird camera, like Ring cameras, and they're always like surveilling the tenants. Don't you always worry when you're at an Airbnb? That,
absolutely.
Somebody's
I just assume I am being taped.
For real. I could see why they would want to, and also a lot of people are skeevy. So I'm sure that happens a lot. But they were trying to figure out how to deal with the party problem. And I thought their solution was really interesting. They hired this lady, and in the article they call her the Airbnb party pooper. Because it was her job to get the number down of these incidents. And so she decided they should do an AI generated algorithm type thing that when you're making the booking, it calculates the risk that you're doing it for a party. And so it will flag you based on this series of factors. Like,
I can't wait to hear this.
I know.
This is because like, I have no intention to throw any parties, but I want to know how to do it. And I Now this is a challenge.
Yeah, because it says that there are hundreds of factors that they look at. So this is just a few of them. But one is like the reservation's closeness to the user's birthday.
Oh my goodness!
Can you
book
believe
it under somebody else if you're doing it for your own dude?
Yeah,
I'm loving this. Okay.
Although, you know what, Sarah? When we went to Chicago and I got the Airbnb, they asked for your license too, and
they sure did.
So I don't know if that's typical or not, but like they would have access to that, and then. User's age, the length of the stay, the listing's proximity to where the user is based. So if the Airbnb is where you live.
You're throwing a party and you don't want it at your own house. Duh. Got it.
And then like if it's a weekday or weekend and like, you know, what city it's in and stuff like that. And so if you book it for like one day also, that's a red flag. And they've done a pretty good job. I think it's down like 35% on these parties because it is a problem. I wouldn't want people throwing parties at my Airbnb. I can't believe so many people even want to have a party.
Right. I'm like,
do they know about like solitude?
Right. I'm like, where's the thing of like, just check my, I don't know, data collection of like, where has she been in the last 6 months? Oh, nowhere? Great. She's probably not throwing a party. Oh,
no.
Went out one time? Okay.
You should have to say whether you have like a library card. I feel like that would be a negative, a positive correlation.
They're not throwing any parties. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess there's a lot of nightmares, but that's fascinating to me how they can predict stuff like that. Yeah. It's sort of like the data stuff I was talking about the other week about, you know, robots can learn a lot about you from just weird, random stuff you do online.
Everything.
Yeah.
everything. Like, I know that, like, my phone predicts that. It knows when I'm driving by places. It knows when I'm out of it knows everything.
Everything.
Why are we pretending like it does? It's not like collecting data for every single thing we do.
I wish they would just admit it.
The other thing are that's doing it so much, and we so willingly do this, and nobody ever complains about it. Is the grocery store, you know, like you enter your membership number.
Yeah,
I think you were telling us about.
Yes, right. Well,
that's like tons of data.
In that article, it said how a lot of people have the point of view of like, hey, if it's going to customize coupons for what I buy, then it's almost like a cost benefit thing for them. The benefit outweighs any fears about privacy. But that's why that article is basically like, you need to quit saying that. Like, this actually does matter.
Right. I go back and forth with it sometimes. I'm like, nope, everything. I don't want you knowing anything. Then sometimes I'm like, it's a waste. I just surrender.
Yeah, there is that.
Advertise to me what I need. It's fine. You know.
Okay. I'm sure you saw the headline about how patients that have female surgeons have more positive and favorable outcomes. That was great news.
Really great news. It makes sense.
Tell me why to you. Like what makes sense about it?
I think the higher levels of empathy and listening. Like I think hearing what the patients, not doing what they think is best and doing what is best for the patient. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe there's a little bit of ego check that you have to do there. And I'm sure that just because of the position, all surgeons in general tend to have a little bit of a higher like
God
levels
complex.
Of maybe narcissism or, you know, ego or whatever. But I can see just with how women are socialized and how men are socialized that the listening and compassion and bedside manner would be greater and higher in women than in men.
Okay.
In general, you know, there of course.
As an aside, you just made me think of it. There was now I'm forgetting if it was New York Times, but there was New York Magazine. That's what it was. Uh-huh. There was this really long, involved article about that OB-GYN at, I think it was Columbia School of Medicine or Columbia, whatever, who spent decades like assaulting his patients. It was, because I knew about the headline. I saw that this guy did that and that it was awful, including, the politician Yang. I forget his first name. He ran for president last time, but his wife was one of the victims. So I bring that up to say, I have never understood why anyone would go to a male OB-GYN. And I know a lot of people do, and they love theirs, and he's the nicest guy in the whole wide world. But for me personally, it is just like, why would I do that if there are other options?
Right.
What are your feelings?
I feel the same. I feel like it is I have a male, what is he? A urogynecologist who's performing my surgery in January. And there is that part of me that has to, like, I want to know why he went into this. I'm like, give me your backstory. Like, I need it to make sense to me.
Your origin story of this.
Yeah, I need the origin story. You know, this guy was passionate enough about the lack of research and the lack of awareness that other doctors have of endometriosis, because he's only one of 58 surgeons in the entire country that performs this kind of surgery.
Yeah.
And everybody else does the wrong kind to try to fix this. And so I feel like he puts himself into this like category of like, well, I'm doing it. Like I know more than the rest of them. So I don't know, like that's his passion project. I've like created this fan fiction in my head, of course, to make it so like, why is he so into this? And, you know, like, why is he so good at this? Why, you know, because maybe it's like
Sarah,
nobody else is researching it. So I'll do it. And then I'll be one of the first. So maybe he's like that.
Listen, I'm sure that the vast majority of these guys are noble and truly talented with their vagina work, but I just don't get it. And then when you read these stories and how easy it is to abuse your position and how hard it is to persuade people to believe you that something went weird. Gretchen, my sister, was telling me how that Larry Nassar, the gymnastics guy, he abused them all while their parents were in the room.
That is the crazy. People just assume that
everything's above board. And it's just...
I watched some videos of some TSA pat downs, and I'm like, this is straight up sexual assault in front of our eyeballs. And we're like...
For real?
Yes!
You've seen videos?
I've seen videos where... and it's especially on people of color.
Oh, man.
It's like, oh my God, this is so beyond. There's nothing anybody's hiding in there. Are you fucking kidding me?
In their privates or like breasts? Okay.
Yes.
Good grief.
Yes.
I'll tell you what you should put on your privates, and that is Lumi deodorant.
Especially if they're stinky.
Well, yeah, because it's whole body, baby. This isn't just for your pits.
I'm not going to lie. I was recently on a plane.
Uh-oh.
You know, you get sweaty in every area. I did the old under the boob.
Yeah.
I did a little between the legs.
Well, that was very courteous of you. I'm sure everyone appreciated that.
Yeah, I mean.
You know,
I can't be stinking up the place.
Right. Nobody likes that at all. No. And Lumi was made by an OB-GYN who is a lady.
Yes, there you go.
And saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated and whatever. And this is like, will solve all your stinkiness. Blocks odor all day, controls odor for up to 72 hours. They have wipes, they have cream, they have a traditional deodorant bar. Anyway, As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with code BrainCandy5 at LumiDeodorant.com. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you visit LumiDeodorant.com and use code BrainCandy5. Give it a try. You'll love it. Okay, back to this thing. Hold on a minute. What was I talking about?
I know. I don't even remember. What the hell are we talking?
Surgeons.
Okay. Yeah. Lady surgeons.
I mean, I remember the abuse one, the Columbia one, but that was from the original conversation about female surgeons. Okay. So I did find it funny in the article how it seems pretty obvious to you, and I think most women, why this would be the case. It didn't surprise me, this finding. I was pleased with it, but I wasn't like, what?
Right. No, it's surprised. And every single one of us has a theory on why. We're like, oh, yeah, here's why. You don't even need to do the research. I got it.
Right. But in the article, anytime a man was quoted, or even in the writer themselves, whether it was man or woman, it was sort of like, yeah, we don't know what it could be.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Is the writer a male?
That's what I don't remember, but I'm thinking yes. But here's what they said in it. The study found although female surgeons had significantly longer operation times, so the amount of time it takes them to do an operation, than their male counterparts, they were less likely to be forced to switch from a keyhole surgery to open surgery. So like a more invasive and dangerous surgery because they're taking their sweet time. Yes. Thank you. That's great. Take your time while you're in there. Patients treated by female surgeons had significantly fewer surgical complications and shorter hospital stays than those treated by males, and appeared to include differences in communication, like you said, practice style, and the physician-patient relationship, and may also include qualitative differences in practice, including patient selection. And the problem here...
and even believing, like, I can do this. Like, there's the idea of, like, no, this is beyond my skill set. Or yes. And not being just like, nah, I can do it.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Testosterone does that.
Yeah. It's just a biological problem, people.
Yeah.
And then the problem, though, is that 22.6% of general surgeons in the U.S. are women, and only 10% of neurological surgeons were women. And
that's what I want. If they're doing my brain surgery, I want a woman.
Yeah. Well, good luck finding one. That's
Don't rush
what
that.
I'm saying.
Holy shit.
Is it like there's a shortage?
Yeah.
I hate, though, when I read this stuff, I'm always like, okay, maybe I should be a surgeon. Like, for real, like, I'm going to solve this problem.
Oh, God. Well, what we can do is we can encourage young women listening to continue with their, medical school and training and, like, don't give up and,
Yeah. I bet you, I don't know this, but if I were to predict, I would bet you that the dropout rate in medical school is much higher for women because it probably sucks to be a woman in that field.
Yeah.
I could have just ended it with sucks to be a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. The Lumi deodorant spot reminded me, I had read this article about, the stereotype that French people stink? Like literally stink.
Yes.
Okay, well, it was about that, and it was about the history of sort of stinky French people. And this was an academic journal. This wasn't like I'm reading some slanderous French tabloid or something. Let me pull it up, actually, because it cracked me up.
Here's the problem.
Yeah, tell me.
I think this all started with the word PU. Sounds too French. It's our word for everything stinky. PU. And then everybody's like, that sounds French. French people are probably stinky.
Oh, my God. I wish
I don't know. We got ostriches sticking their heads in the sand from Disney. Who knows where things came from?
Well,
Susie's going to be like,
Sarah,
actually, this academic journal.
This isn't, it's true. Like, this stinky French thing is a fact.
Oh, and well, then never mind.
I can't believe you were even debating that. Have you been there?
Yeah, but I feel like this has more to do with like a all natural deodorant situation.
Why?
Because like,
all natural meaning zero.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so like they're
You're being real nice to them, but those people, even to this day, are real loosey goosey.
Maybe it's because I too am loosey goosey with the deodorant, and so
You're defensive.
I'm like, what? What's wrong?
She becomes French when she talks about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. I don't even know. So what? We got a little stinky.
Listen, they just, I think they like perfume a lot, but that's not the same thing. And then you're just spraying perfume on your gross BO.
So what does the article say? Why is this the case?
I never expected you to be defensive. This is so great. Okay, the title is The French Hygiene Offensive of the 1950s, a Critical Moment in the History of Manners. And this is by a scholar at the University of Vermont. And he's just tracking the what was going on. Basically, they didn't have a lot of plumbing like in the rural parts of France, and they just like didn't give a shit. They washed their laundry twice a year.
Oh no. Why is this specific to France though?
Thank you. This is what was making me crazy. There were two articles I read about it.
You got all these other European countries around you.
Yeah, because the explanations that they were offering were not satisfactory because they didn't like tell me why it was just France and not say England or wherever.
If you told me this happened on an island, like if this was, I don't know, somewhere remote, it would make
that would make sense.
What I don't understand when across the border and all of a sudden you guys are like indoor plumbing.
Peasants in France often considered dirt protective and sweat cleansing, and they viewed strong body odor as a sign of health and sexual vitality. There was not an easy way to wash in the city.
Would be so sexy in France.
What is your weird thing about?
She's an 8, but a 10 in France.
Tell me what is the deal with
I just forget. That's why I do love Lumi, because it eats away a little back. I can put it on after I'm already stinky. That is the biggest sell for me, because I just forget to put it on.
How come you don't forget brushing your teeth then?
Because it feels like I have sweaters on my teeth.
And you can't smell your own BO. Is that?
No, usually in the morning when I wake up, I get out of the shower. I don't.
You smelled fine. I
smell
see.
fine.
Okay.
And then it's a slow build. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, I should have. I also forget to eat. You think normal hunger cues would. No, forget about those.
It does say also that they were in the cultural idea of touching your body was it shouldn't, it's immoral.
Okay.
And but maybe why there though? I don't get that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then
was it that people just got used to the smell, so they didn't make changes? It was just accepted?
Well, as it said, they kind of thought that it made you better.
Huh.
So they were really stretching. I mean, for real. Come on.
Yeah, but why it hasn't changed now? Why it's not? Why it's still kind of a thing? Do you think it's just that?
That's what I thought was funny about both articles, is they were acting like this was a thing of the past. I'm like, have you been there? Because if you ride the train in Paris, you're going to smell body odor.
Yeah.
And I've been on the New York City one, and this is not the same.
What about the shaving of underarm hair?
What about it? Do
women do that in France?
Yeah, there's a lot more of the au naturel.
Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it too.
But I mean, men all around the world don't shave under their arms, and they don't smell
I'm really trying to make a case. I'm trying to crack the code over here.
Okay. Well, anyway, they wash their clothes twice a year, and they said that basically the thing that made it change was the military, because when they joined the military, they it had to get rid of like the bed lice and stuff.
Oh,
and so they forced them to shower, and then they brought it home. Like, not the lice, the routine.
Cleaning habits, yeah.
Yeah, and once they did that, in like the decade or however long after they started bathing, infant mortality dropped 65%. These people were like not realizing germ theory.
That is a problem.
So,
okay. This was a hygiene thing. Wow, France. Really snooty for...
That's what I mean. They do a lot of things great.
Right.
Kissing, cheese, wine.
Toast.
Not so much.
Just waiting for you to laugh at that.
It took me a second there. I was like, do they? Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying. It made me laugh at those. I even was reading this nonsense.
Now, see, my feeling is the BO comes more from what you eat. And there are times when I eat certain foods and I'm like, whew, that has changed my BO. No?
I think it can change it.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not like you didn't smell and now you do because you had curry or something.
Right. That's just true. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, God, I love it. This is so funny to me. This is one of your quirks, like, you know how I love bathing?
Yeah.
Like,
and I clearly I don't, apparently.
Exactly. Right. Okay.
I need all the help I can get.
Did you watch the Michelle Wolf Netflix special?
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
How was it for you? Did you love it?
I did, and I what I loved even more is that in the beginning she plays a clip from when she was in Denver, and I was at that show.
Oh my gosh, that is a hoot!
I went by myself because I couldn't. There was nobody else who was available that night. I think it was when Eli and I first started dating or something. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going by myself. I'm not missing her." And the reason I even got tickets was because it was sold out. But then she had like travel problems, like she missed a flight or the flight was canceled, delayed because Denver. And then another show was added the very next night, like a random night. So I got to go because the like do-over show hadn't sold out because nobody knew about it. Yeah. So
you had seen all this material then?
Yeah. And it was fun to see. I've now seen that material 3 times somehow. Mm-hmm. Like I saw it. It's like I've seen it evolve, and it was much better this time.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about comedy specials. They can repeat jokes to make sure that they do it right and stuff. And so it's going to be it better be their best because it's like
it was
edited.
Very funny.
Yeah, because I thought the whole section about how lesbians live in the shadows was just top tier comedy. I mean, so impressive that she come up with it all, but yet we all know what she's talking about, and it was a riot.
Yeah, and how they're definitely the ones who I'm like, yeah, I trust you guys to handle things. We really should put them in charge.
So you will love it whether you're les or not.
What makes a life a good one? Is it the adventure you have? Or the friends you find along the way? Maybe it's pursuing your passion while striving to protect, defend, and save what you believe in every single day. So what makes a life a good one? In the Coast Guard, we think it's all of the above and more. But you'll have to find out for yourself. Visit gocoastguard.com to learn more.
CarMax is putting peace of mind back in car shopping by putting you in the driver's seat to find a ride that's right for you. Because at CarMax, we believe you shouldn't just settle for a car. You should love your car. That's why every car we sell is CarMax certified quality, so you can be sure with upfront pricing that's the same for every customer. So don't settle. Find love at first drive and start shopping now at CarMax.com. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
Okay. I'm going to talk about surfing.
Oh, okay.
What is your impression of this sport/community?
Okay. as somebody who grew up in Southern California and was a very amateur member of the Thousand Oaks High School surf team my freshman year. Shout out to Coach Ron, who was our surf coach captain.
This is not true.
Yeah.
You're like Gidget. Oh my God. You were on the surf squad.
Gidget Goes Hawaiian. Yeah, I couldn't even I'll put up a photo of me with, and then when I moved down to Orange County, I had 3 friends, and we would wake up in the morning and we would throw our longboards into the back of my Jeep Grand Wagoneer with the license plate Big Water. That was my custom license plate. And
was it
and we
Big
would go,
H2O or Big
No,
Water?
it was BGWATER.
Yeah.
And I did not pick that. I bought the car and it had that. And I played water polo, and I was a big girl, so it felt like, oh, that was the thing. Yeah. And everybody called my car the Beast. And we would throw the surfboards in the back, and we would go down to San Onofre, and we would go surfing before school. And
no way.
Yes. I will I definitely have photos of this. So I'll post those pictures to my close friends.
This is so interesting to me because I would say that you will toot your own horn. Like if you think you're real good at something, or if you've done
I'm
something.
not very good at surfing.
Yeah, but just to be honest, surf team is such a fun thing to talk about. How have you hid this from me all this time?
Because I was shitty. Because I was still I just wanted to be with the cute surfer boys.
Well, yeah.
Duh.
And I bet you weren't shitty.
I was one of 3 girls who were there. It was,
Oh,
it was fun.
It was co-ed.
Yeah, it was co-ed.
Okay, well, that's really helpful.
It was just like a surf club. It was like a surf team. We weren't going out there and competing against like some people were, I think. But we had some guys on there. We had these twins who were so fucking good. We had really good surfers on there.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, well, this is helpful because part of what I wanted to know is why it's not co-ed in terms of the competitions. Like when they
I think it should be, and there is a lot of sexism in surfing.
That's what I read about.
This was
in the Atlantic.
I feel like the reason why I didn't continue in it was because I think the girls got edged out and teased and made fun. And it feels almost like they're gatekeeping the sport. If you... we wanted to be in the water, we wanted to do it, but nobody wanted to spend the time to teach us like they wanted to teach the boys.
Right. And you're basically describing what the Atlantic article was saying. I think the title was How Men Muscled Women Out of Surfing.
Yeah, it does feel like you're pushed out. It's and it's so weird because it's way worse than snowboarding. And that feels like a similar community in a way where there's overlap. And I feel like there have been a few pockets where women have carved, pun intended.
I don't get the pun.
Well, that's like a surf to carving is like a surf and skateboard term. But they have carved kind of their own niche in skateboarding. There's women's skateboard leagues and women's clubs and teams where they've recognized that the boys push them out. And now women skateboarding in the Olympics, these little 13-year-old women from Japan, girls from Japan, were crushing it. And we're the best skateboarders. So I do think skateboarding, surfing, and snowboarding all fall into this same kind of vibe where it's hard for women in those sports.
Part of the reason I think that they're muscling women out is because of the scarcity of places to surf. There's a finite number of spots where you can catch a wave. And that isn't true for skateboarding. You can.
That's true.
Whatever.
That's a very good point.
But so the article describes how up until the 60s, it was almost female dominated in the Hawaiian, even the royal family in Hawaii. Yeah. The women in that family all surfed and stuff. And then when the Gidget movies and the Beach Boys came out, then it popularized the sport in a way that allowed men to position themselves to a superior thing. And they started saying that certain breaks were too difficult and dangerous for women. And they it says that they appropriated and revised surf history. They muscled women out of the surf contest, the magazines, and sponsorship opportunities, and then said that they were weaker and less interesting to watch, which is what we see in all kinds of sports, like basketball, soccer. That
let me tell
the men
you,
are more exciting.
They are not, because women dance on, like, women's longboarding is one of the most fun things. They're so smooth and they're so gorgeous, and it looks like poetry in motion on the water. Women are way better longboarders than men.
But it became self-fulfilling, though, because if you limit the tournaments to men and the best spots to men, then the men get the sponsorship. So then the women have less money to travel to the locations where they could learn to be better surfers. And so then the men get better and better and better. And it's like a snowball effect that is by design. And confirms this stereotype. Oh, they are weaker. They aren't as good. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, and then what was really felt really shitty to see as a little girl who was on the surf team and really wanted to be part of this community is when I would pick up the surf magazines, the rip curl models were girls with their butts out, and they were not surfers. Some of them were. They've now changed that a little bit. But the models were girls who I'm like, you don't even know how to hold a surfboard, let alone ride one. They were there for, like, Reef always had, like, the Reef girls. Like, they did this whole, like, catalog, 12-month calendar of, like, girls with their butts out and everything. And it was like the women in the magazine, this skateboard, surfing, and snowboarding magazines were models holding surfboards, not surfers. Showing off the clothes. And it made it so, like, it felt like the woman that I wanted to be wasn't even reflected in the magazine.
Yeah, it's like dismissive of the actual athletes.
Yeah, totally.
And, like, you're just meant to look pretty and be a cute little beach bunny or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll
you're
leave
like an accessory to the male surfers. Like, they're just to cheer them on. Yeah.
But even though they've made some, advancements, like some tournaments are now doing a women's competition and stuff like that. Like the best ones, the best locations and the best conditions are reserved for the men, and the money is greater for the men. And it's just such a bummer.
Spots too.
There was another Atlantic article that was about this company called Surfline that is. It's cameras all over the world that just...
Surf Report?
Yeah, they just watch the surf and the water conditions and stuff. And it was just describing how, like, the surf community is, like, a lot of them are pissed about it and they feel mad. And it's like that thing where you want to know what's going on in the ocean and what the conditions are. But, like, if everybody knows, then everyone's going to go to these stupid waves, and then there's going to be too many people. And here's the thing. I get that. If I were a surfer, I would feel that way. Like, I don't want anyone to know. But at the same time, then it ends up being all these rich pieces of shit that have access and nobody else does.
That's what it kind of feels like. Yeah.
I thought while I was reading this stuff, I never want to be involved in anything that has its own, like, jargon. Like you just said, what was that word you said? Carve or powder.
Yes.
Any of those. Like, anytime there's, like, a word that I know the word carve and the word powder.
Yes.
But I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like it. And I wonder, like, I think most people really do. I think they like being a part of these communities and these little subcultures.
Yes.
And you, I think, are one of those people.
Yes.
Does it ever seem annoying to you?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Anytime Eli talks about mountain biking, I'm like, oh my God. But
do you think that the language of it makes it more annoying, like I feel, or do you feel like that's just...
It's funny because, like, if I'm good at something, one of these activities, I'm super into the lingo because I feel like I can do what I'm talking about. Like when I talk about snowboarding and that, like I'm using
You
the
really
words.
do. You
I'm
never feel weird about it.
No, because I'm talking to people who are like so... I'm going to use the word stoked right now. So stoked right along with me. Like, and there's no other word for it. And it's like you're like riding a gondola down talking about the type of snow. And like, that is fun.
Okay, I guess the exception for me is if the hobby or activity is people of color. Or like oppressed people. If it's like a white, like surfing, snowboarding, if it's like dominated by white people, I'm just like, stop talking.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
But I'm weird and always annoyed. So, you know.
I'm more annoyed at sports people who use the term we.
You mean fans?
Yeah, fans. That's what I mean. Like Major League Sports teams who goes, oh man, we've been really trying this season. You've been doing nothing.
They say that they did a study and found that they only use we if they're winning.
That is...
If they're losing, they say they suck. They suck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't
'cause it's like
identify with the losers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, that's funny. All right. Well, thank you for your insight there. I mean, surfers do seem like a bunch of dickheads, though, a lot of the time. The men.
Yeah.
The women seem cool.
It can go... It really goes either way. It's like I can think of a few standouts, like... who seem just like Laird Hamilton. He was like a big wave surfer who just seems like, and he's married to, I can't remember her name, female volleyball player.
Gabrielle Reese.
Yes. And he just seems like the nicest guy who would be like,
he's like a real family man.
And I could see him teaching all of his daughters how to surf. And it feels like that's what you need. You need a dad who's going to teach you how to surf or a mom who's going to show you. And if you don't have that, my mom's a better surfer than I am.
Is she?
She's very good.
And see, now I would be super into watching like an older
I have video of that. I will put that up in our close friends too. That I have. My mom can and then when last time we were in Costa Rica, it'd been like a million years since I've been surfing, and she was like heckling me on the beach because I couldn't stand up.
I love this.
I was like,
great.
Okay, just because you're in already, and she was like, Sarah, just stand up. And
That's
like,
cool. Isn't
I am trying, Mom. It's been a minute.
I love when older ladies do stuff like that, like can surf or do that kind of thing. That's really fun. There was this video in the article that you could click on of a young woman who was surfing, and then like I guess some guy encroached. Like I don't know the courtesies of surfing, but you're not supposed to get too close or whatever. And so she like pushed him away while she's on the board surfing, and then he was so pissed. I think it was his friend came over to her after and punched her in the face. I watched it with my own two eyes.
That is
it's
so
like
stupid.
Women in particular, whenever they know
and
what they're allowed to do.
I guarantee she had right away on the wave.
Yeah, you can watch it. It's crazy. And like the article says what happened and how it's not unusual. The punch was, but like it's not unusual for women to be kind of like not included properly in surfing. Well, I hope more women do start surfing, but I mean, it sounds like the beaches are really crowded already.
Yeah, they are.
And everyone's mad about it.
Yeah. And it goes, I feel like there was that movie that came out, Blue Crush. It was about women in surfing. That we see these little like spikes. And then the Bethany Hamilton, I think her name was.
That was the shark attack victim.
It's Laird Hamilton and then Bethany something. Howard? Nope, that's somebody else.
It sounded right when you said it.
Yeah, Bethany something. I can't remember what her last name is. But yeah, she...
I love that you were on the team.
Yeah, I mean...
That's so cool, Sarah.
It wasn't good. That's why
Here's me over here playing fucking French horn or my tuba, as my husband would say.
That maybe would have...
And you're like...
Got me more dates, because surfing sure is fucking
No. I mean, I'm over here listening to the Beach Boys, like, fantasizing about your life.
It was really fun. It was...
How much did you sell that Wagoneer for? That's what I want to know. 'Cause that is a treasure.
I ended up trading it in for a tax deduction because it couldn't run. It didn't turn on. I donated it. I only bought it for $5,000.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love Wagoneers. R.I.P.
And
Big Water.
Every single time I came to a stop, I had to shift it into neutral and keep gunning the gas or else it would die.
You're lucky to be alive.
I'm so lucky.
For real.
And I taped a CD player with anti-skip to the center console because it was like bucket seats. I just taped one down because it didn't have a working CD player, working radio.
What do you think your cool? I'll wrap it up. I know, but what do you think your coolest age was? Because that sounds like a really cool version of Sarah.
It was cool because I didn't realize at the time that I was cool. Mm-hmm. I was just I thought I was a weirdo, and I should have just leaned into my weirdo-ness because it was cooler.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm pretty cool now, though, because I feel like if that Sarah saw me snowboarding now, she would be so impressed. She'd be stoked. Holy shit. She'd be so stoked. She'd be like, I would mentor little me. I'd be like, look, let's go out here. Let's push past this fear. I'm mad that I didn't do it younger. Didn't get over that. Now and I had a day when I'll never regret. I'll never do this again. I regret this. I went out, Eli had friends over that he was skiing with. And I was like, he wanted me to come with him. And in my head, I was like, no, I'm not going to go out with the boys. They're all better than me. I'm not going to go. I'm going to hold everybody up. Then we met up at lunchtime, and then they were like, oh, come do a couple laps with us. So I go out there and ride with them. I was way better than two of them. I was like, what? This is I'm way better than these guys. I can keep up. I'm doing just fine. In fact, I got to wait for one of these guys. And I had it in my head that because I was just a girl riding with the guys, I was going to be bad. And I went by myself and that morning, and I could have had an awesome time, exploring the mountain and going to different parts that you just, it's better to go with a group if you're hiking up backcountry areas and all this stuff. So I don't know. I feel like that. I wish I would have trusted my own skill and just pushed myself to be I don't care if I'm if I'm a little slower or whatever.
This is what I mean about tooting your horn. This is what you should have been doing about the surf squad.
Should have. I would have been a way better surfer today if I did that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for tolerating my rants and everything.
It's great.
Supermodels, The Big Con. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that.
2 thumbs up for female surgeons.
Yes.
2 thumbs down for TSA pat downs.
Yes.
Questionable.
Yes. I'm telling you. It's
also to body odor and surfing dickheads.
Yeah, definitely. There's a wrap up.
Thanks for listening. That's your wrap up. We'll see you next time.
Bye.